Hey, welcome back. Let's take a look now at the stories that have made the headlines in the Sunday newspapers, just to give you a picture of some of the key stories that our colleagues are following. I'm joined by Sunday Times editor Makudu Sefara to talk to us through what's leading. So Makudu, good afternoon, and thank you for agreeing to talk to me this afternoon. Let's start with your newspaper, the Sunday Times. I see that you're leading with a headline, Caucus Revolt Rocks the ANC. And we'll show it in a moment as you start to unpack it for us. Just tell us about the reporting that has gone into it. So there was a meeting, we understand, between the ANC and its caucus in Parliament. What then transpired?
Yeah, no, I think it took a few people by surprise. First of all, the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, apparently arrived an hour late at the meeting, and that incensed a few of the top 7 leadership, including the national chairperson, Gwede Dash, but also including the deputy president of the ANC, Mr. Mashatile. So the essence of the piece is that the members of parliament of the ANC, a number of whom are members of the NEC, were essentially unhappy that following their meeting with the Deputy President Mashatile and also with the President Cyril Ramaphosa in Parliament not too long ago, at which the two leaders said the DA is defining itself outside of the GNU, and that an adversary must not be stopped midway as they are making errors or whatever, that they were informed that the NEC will make a final call about how the GNU is going to be constituted going forward. Ever since the officials of the ANC have met, the National Working Committee has met, but the ANC NEC has not taken place, and they felt that with the coming week, the budget 3.0 processes getting underway in Parliament and the SG giving them the party line. The question to him was, where does the party line come from? Because the ANC has not met, and how do we go into this process and vote together with the DA as if we are partners when our two most senior leaders were at the party caucus in Cape Town saying, this is the lay of the land. Why have we not called the NEC meeting? And when you say we, you're referring to who? Because as far as we are concerned, that line in the ANC has not been defined yet. Yeah, so essentially that's really the piece.
So in a way, it sounds to me like those MPs are calling for the natural consequences of some of the pronouncements that have been made by people as senior as the deputy president as well as the president, that if you're saying that the DA, in the way that it has conducted itself, has quote unquote defined itself outside of the GNU, there should be natural consequences. And if I understand what you are saying and what the story says, that's what they're calling for, that what are the natural consequences?
Yeah. Essentially, they're saying, look, you can't just come to the caucus in Cape Town and say these things, walk away, and then when we expect to be informed what then happens next, there's no meeting, there's nothing, and everything is quiet, and now there's different directions. We don't understand what informs these directions. So there's that, and one way of looking at that is a surface level interpretation, which says that please take us along as and when there are changes, and we don't we are confused about where the ANC is at currently in relation to its relationship with its biggest partner in the GNU, which happens to be the DA. But another way of looking at it would be, there's already within the ANC battles for succession.
Yeah.
And so the question is, who within the ANC would want the DA kicked out, and for what reason? And if the DA is kicked out, what are the implications? And the very clear implications are that the majority the ANC would have if the DA is out will be limited in terms of numbers. You bring in Action SA and whoever else.
Yeah.
If the EFF or MK are not coming in, that majority is by 2 people, so 2 votes. And so if you have a president who has that slim majority, there's likely to be instability and motions of no confidence. And if 2 or so people betray the ANC, the president could be voted out. Now, question is, who would actually want that within the ANC? Is that why some of the people are pushing for that? And so on and so on. So there's different ways of looking at it, but it's interesting nonetheless, because the processes within the ANC within Parliament are such that people who are partners are meant to start working together as this week begins, to start putting together that budget 3.0.
Yeah.
As we've seen the finance minister saying that by the 21st there should be pronouncements. But before those, it means in the various committees, select committee on finance and others, that work must already be getting underway.
So I will come back to the other story on your front page that has to do with the UIF, if we still have time, Makudu. But let's move on to the front page of the Sunday Tribune. And they're leading with a story that says economic depression impacts KZN tourism. And the way that that story is framed, when I was reading it, it frames it in the sense that we've all welcomed the lower numbers in terms of fatalities on the road over the Easter period. But they are saying that perhaps underlying some of that, it has to do with a decision taken by many people in light of economic pressures to not travel, and therefore there were fewer people on the roads compared to last year. Just that, you're thinking around that story and the way that it is framed and what it reveals about the state of the economy.
Yeah. There's a lot that we focus on that relates to our country's politics. The story that we've just spoken about in relation to the budget is essentially related to this issue of the economy. It's about where do we spend our rands and cents as a country economically, and what kind of outcome do we want to see? And so essentially what is emerging from KZN is that we've had these long weekends, we've had Easter holidays, and the expectation was that there was going to be a boom. There was going to be quite a number of people visiting the province, but essentially, the numbers are not adding up, and this may be because of what we see in the economy, how the economy is performing. A number of people. You would have seen data earlier in the week in terms of which, Status was revealing that quite a number of South Africans are indebted, even as companies are beginning to take on more debt in anticipation of an economic recovery. But a number of people, or people running households, are still tightening their belts because they are so much in debt. And so insofar as the long weekends and holidays are concerned, and KwaZulu-Natal's economy being structured to take advantage of that, they would be, along with Cape Town, among the first to feel the pinch when quite a number of South Africans stop traveling. But more so KwaZulu-Natal, because of the historical challenges relating to the impact of floods that has affected water and sanitation infrastructure, that then spilled into the ocean, that then led to E. coli, that then dissuaded quite a number of us who really like Durban, I must say, who really like Mhlanga, but you know, we're finding it
Yeah.
very difficult to just go there, and we're not able
Yeah.
to even set foot into the water because you're looking at that and you're thinking, am I going to get sick
Yeah.
after this?
So there's
You know,
certainly
what's the municipality doing to resolve
there's
this?
certainly a lot for authorities to ponder there, Makudu. And I suppose we'll get a fuller picture when institutions like KZN Tourism, Tourism SA give a final picture of, you know, the extent to which this reduction in domestic travel is manifesting itself. The last headline that I want us to look at is from the Sunday World. They're talking about an incident where they're saying at a mine in the northwest, female mine workers are stripped naked and a security company forcing employees to undress and spread their legs in intrusive searches. These are the kind of headlines that you would hope, you know, you really don't expect to be reading in 2025.
Yeah, it's a hark back to not even the early 90s, to the 80s, and you know, that period, because essentially the piece reveals that there's a mining company that in its response to theft of gold has decided that people must be strip searched, and the women who are quoted in the story are saying that they are made to take off their undies, and they are subjected to very invasive searches, and it's just, I mean, it's just horrific.
Yeah.
What this company has done, the Human Rights Commission and the Department of Mineral Resources and related you know, institutions are paying attention to it, and the company, I gather from the story, had already fired people and suspended some who refused to be subjected to this inhumane treatment, and that the company has now agreed to reinstate those people and to lift the suspensions. You know, it's a thing worth noting, or a thing worth paying attention
Yeah.
to see what happens going forward.
All right, Makudu, let's leave it there. I really appreciate your time, and also I appreciate that you are battling with a bit of the flu at the moment, and therefore I appreciate you pushing through this interview. That's Sunday Times editor Makudu Sefara there, looking at the headlines in today's Sunday newspapers.